Guys, okay. Hmm. Hello everyone. Oh, hello both returning and new viewers. All right, guys. So welcome everybody. If you're seated already, you are highly welcome. And if you're joining, if you're actually joining, and we are so welcome you. So welcome. People are still joining. People are still joining. Okay. All right, guys. I welcome everybody. All right. So in today's lightning section, we have something else, something that is a topic that we're gonna be treating today, something that is very important, like very vital, and is mostly for our Nigerian students, and is because of their sake. That is why we will not stop talking, and that is why our talking is not gonna look like it's enough until we see some changes. You get so. That's for that. Let me just reintroduce myself. By name you graphics, and uh our goal, so I normally said, is to see our graduates and our young adults being successful, and not a kind of seeing them in sometime in the future, hmm, being stuck because of some necessary reasons, or because of, or they were not opportune to, or let's say because of lights didn't work out as planned, and it's gonna be affecting them. So that's the essence of all the sections that we've been doing here, and that's the essence of our live streams. And we're trying to teach and enlighten them. It's more like an eye opening, not in a kind of to put fear in them, to just open their eyes to see and to, or pay attention to what school is not teaching them, and is not even going to teach them, because that's not their primary objective, and that's not what they're meant for, and that's not what they are being assigned for, actually. Because school there is more like teaching you how to read and write, how to pass your exams, prepare you for exams and grades you on your performance, all of those stuff. So what we're talking about here is just more like life after school, or matters, and uh, kind of preparing our students and our young adults as well. When it has to do with their life after school, many people make a lot of mistakes, and it really, this is what this matter has to do with life and a kind of future. So any mistake that anybody's gonna be making is really going to be affecting, or once outcoming, or once becoming. Do you get? So that's the essence of our life streaming, and our goal is just to limit, see our young adult excelling. All right, guys. So enough of that. I just introduced myself, you have graphics, and I just said our objective and goal here. All right, guys. So without wasting much of our time, we have something today to pass. Like, we have something to present to you. It's more like something like cool. Like, it's a very interesting topic. So if you're seated already, I want you to stick and hold your share very tight. And if you're planning to join, do as well to join. And maybe you can just in any period, or let's just say in any section you get in, or it interests you, can just drop a like. Maybe you're not subscribed to our channel, you just try subscribing, and it motivates us and we keep going. All right, guys. So that's our goal and what we are set for. All right. So we are to start up like we're about starting. And firstly, I'm going to be kind of running around our last live streaming session we did. That was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. That was yesterday. And on the live streaming session, we said a lot, and we it kind of pointed out a lot of things that students are not seeing. And let me just quickly check on the topic is in my book here. The last live streaming session, that was yesterday's one. Okay, it was life skills school ignores. Okay, the yesterday's section stream was life skills school ignores. Remind you, all our session here is to a kind of unveil things that school is not teaching. Get me? Like, everything we're doing here, everything we are, or a kind of trying to communicate or let you see, is all this part that school is not talking about, school is not seeing, the school is not, or actually pointing it out for students. You get? So that is what you're actually doing, because if it's actually ignored and like nobody's talking about it, it has great effect, like backside, that is really going to affect our upcoming adult and our upcoming graduate. So they actually need to start seeing this. The earlier the better. That's what they said, and that's our goal. And what in under that we or under yesterday's section we said something, and that thing, okay, on the yesterday administration we said life skills school ignores. So under that note we said life skills school ignores. And I don't know, let me just try explaining. So if you're here and if it interests you, it's just the previous section before this one. You can just equally just check and maybe watch. I assure you, it's really it will really benefit you. Alright guys, so let me just try summarizing, or let me just say try a kind of analyzing what we said there. So if you're not opportunity to join that yesterday, let me just try communicating some message about that yesterday's stream to you. Then before we get into what we have to do, so guys, so under that note we said life skills school ignores. Then under it we said decision making skills. And firstly we first explained this a kind of serial, and we said life, okay, at first we said the school is more like a section, or let's say at first we define the primary objective of school being to teach you how to read and write. Is more of theoretically, like more of writing and more of preparation. There is limited room for practical aspects. And we even gave an illustration, just like somebody that is, okay, this one is common, just somebody that's studying computer engineering, and it will shock you that most of them cannot even on computer. The reason is very very simple, because the reason is just because they are not being taught to that area. Maybe they are more like writing and explain definition, is more of theory. So that is why anything skill, anything practical, or anything, I don't know, just anything around what I'm saying, a school is not actually going to be teaching you, because that's not how it was designed. So that's the essence of our streams, and that's the essence of us teaching you this. All right, so under that we said decision making skills. Now this one, and this is part of what school is not going to be teaching you. Decision making skills, even if you're what is decision making skill, maybe just the ability of you, or the ability of oneself handle things, like make some vital decisions pertaining to oneself, and maybe something that can actually work well. It's just like decision making, like from the word you should get it, or just you should get what I'm trying to say. Decision making, the ability for you to make some reasonable decisions that is not going to be affecting you maybe in later years to come. That's that. And we say school is not going to teach you this has to do with our young adult. Now if I were to relate it to our young adult, now after school they are going to face life. They have to make some decisions by themselves. They have to take some responsibilities. They have to handle some issues. They have to face a lot of pressures from enemies, from families, from friends, and from peers. Do you get? So these are what this is where that skill enter. And school is not going to teach them this. And when they don't have the ability to make some better decisions that pertains to themselves, they are going to make errors, like a lot of mistakes, and it's going to affect them. It's just like when you don't know what is good for you, like when you don't just have the ability to or make some vital decisions, you can just or a kind of get into anything at any given time. So that is what you're actually avoid. And in this section you can just so we just a kind of outlining how decision making how it's structured to be kind of it, and how students can actually develop the ability, or the as I don't know, competency, or in actually doing that well, and in a more appropriate way. So that's for that. So, and as what you pointed out again is time management in real life. Time management in real life. Now school is not going to teach you time management in real life. It's going to teach you time management in reading, time management in studying, how to schedule and structure your time to gain more knowledge and pass your exams. So bam, they will stop. So what we're talking about here, time management in real life. Mind that I'm just pointing out some things last yesterday's live session. So we in today's zone, you have also something, just be with us and you're gonna pass a very, very vital knowledge. Alright, alright guys, so we said time management in real life. School is not going to teach you this. School is not going to teach you how to plan yourself, how to schedule your time, how to how to structure things that relates to your life. It's only going to teach you how to pass exam. Like when it comes to school, would you get so in the area of time management, it's not going to teach you how to schedule yourself, like how to take some priorities and get to start doing some things, but it's gonna teach you or school aspect. So that is why we say school is not gonna be teaching you that. All right guys, so on that note, as we pointed out, communication and social skill. Now we said communication is, it can be seen maybe the ability of oneself or the ability of one uh the ability of one to communicate effectively and more efficiently to a person. And we said a good communication is a kind of feedback, like a communication that receives the feedback from a person, that shows that your opponent gets your message, that kind of a thing. So when you are not, or school is not going to teach you how to effectively communicate. And a kind of social skill is more like the ability to socialize, to relate with people, and to get entangled with people outside the world. So if you're a person that is not, I don't know, there is they are being referred, maybe I don't know, I've forgotten, but if you're a kind of person that doesn't like talking to people and all of that, school is not going to teach you how to start doing it. So you are to start socializing and start to communicate, because even if you're brilliant, if you're not able to communicate, is assumed that you're dumb, like you don't know anything. That's cool, that's just for that. So a lot of yesterday's section. So if it's already interesting you, just check on it and maybe try watching. All right guys, so let's just get into what I have today mainly. All right guys, so on today's section we have something to shoot to, and it's a kind of broad. All right, so in today's session we have time management in real life. If you check our thumbnail, I think it's there, time management in real life. So on that note, we pointed out a lot of things, we sketched out some things already, and how students, how young adults can equally manage their time in a way that there is like they are going to utilize it well. That's just our stream section today, and we're going to be elaborating on it. And if you're seated already, I really appreciate the fact that you're watching, and these web graphics, I really appreciate the fact. So it's not taken for granted. You can drop anything you are so seeing it, and we'll get to reply your messages. All right guys, so on that note, on the note of time management in real life, we said, sorry guys, so we said school is more like teaching you how to manage your time. Don't mind if something is choking me, I don't know. School is more like teaching you how to map out timetable. Okay, we said that school is more like uh time for exam, time to make your assignment, setting schedules or timetable and all of that. Moreover, in real world, I'm just a kind of trying to compare school time with real life time. That, do you get? So school time is more like, if it's okay, let's say if an average student hears about time management, he or she is going to start thinking about maybe how to structure his or her time to read, or let's say she will start or he will start thinking his timetable, all of those stuff. But we are talking about real life matters here, so is more than that. Is beyond that. It's beyond reading. It's beyond scheduling your time and passing your exam. So time management in real life is more like you knowing and taking responsibility, prioritizing some things, and getting to get some things done. Do you get? So that's more like time management and in real world aspect. So, and it's so unfortunate that in this real world aspect of time management, uh many are youths, or let's say many adults, or even let's say many our young adults and many of our students are really making a lot of mistakes. Now the reason is not their fault, it's just normal, because they are not being taught, and that's the source of this stream. So at first they are mistaken in it, because it's just like in life. nobody's going to wake you up. Like nobody's going to tell you that you're wasting your time, you're sleeping too much, you're or like nobody's going to wake you up to go to lectures, nobody's going to or give you any outline to study on, nobody's going to prepare you for any exam. Life is very, very broad, and it's assumed that the exams normally comes to students and to young people and to young adults unprepared because he's uninformed. They're going to be disformed. Now I'm trying to inform you so that you will not be disformed when it comes, because it's something that is more like an inevitable, something that one cannot just hide or hid away from. It's more like something that must occur. Actually, if you're growing, you're becoming an adult, you cannot restrict yourself to still remain a kid. That's just what this adulthood, or let's say life after school, looks like, because you're not going to stick to that school. You're actually going to come out and you're actually going to take handle pressures, take responsibilities. So everything around that area, that's what we're talking about here. And under that note, we said time management is more like, it's more than utilizing your time to read and write in the university. It's more like taking responsibilities in real world and or get to start doing some things and utilize your time in a more appropriate way. So under that, and under that note, we said if a student fails to see this, or if a student fails to adapt and starts making some structures on it, he or she is going to really a kind of slack, just like a student that maybe you graduated, maybe during when you were still in school, the lecturers and all of those things will be like, do this, do this, do this, and maybe you're out, you're just feeling dumb, and you were not prepared then. Like you did not expect all of this coming, because this is like life. Anything can cause a lot of things. Even how you planned yourself, things can get to change. And when you don't have already made plan, or when you don't have a support system, or even when you don't have a plan B, you're going to fall drastically. Like your it's gonna be loud. Let me use it like it's gonna be loud. Like your failure is gonna be loud. So that's what we're really avoiding, and that's not what we're wishing for our students. So that's for that. Under that note as well, we said time management is really energy and attention management. Now I'm gonna explain. Time management is really energy and attention management. Now in our current world, or less in our era, in our generation in short, we have a lot of students that are, they'll be like, I don't have time to learn a skill, I don't have time to start working and developing myself in some areas. Now let me shock you, everybody knows, and it's normal that we have a lot of youths that says, I don't have time, but they have time to scroll on social media. That's number one. They have time to watch football. This one is mostly for our guys. They have time to watch football 90 minutes, 1 hour, and rest. Most of the girls have time to watch seasonal movies. Now these are times that can actually be a kind of suppressed or convert to maybe learning a skill, or even get to start learning developing oneself, maybe in a skill or skillful area, that kind of a thing. Now they are messing it up, or let's say they are using it to do irrelevant things. And all these times are precious time, because they say time is money. Because, and again they say time is not your friend. Even when you're sleeping, Jesus Christ, even when you're sleeping. Alright guys, so sorry. My God, my village people is fighting me now. Alright guys, let's proceed. My village people, I don't know what they sent to, so that it was them. Alright guys, so even we were saying something, and we said even when they are sleeping, time is going. That's why time is not our friend, and everybody as well, every young adult should know this by now, and they should start utilizing it and start making good use of it. So that's for that. And it is as well said that if you fail to plan yourself, or if you fail to put some structures on ground or in ground, I don't know, already, maybe other people is going to bring in their own structure, or let's say other people is going to kind of make you to believe their own structure and stuff like that. So That's for that, and that's not really making sense, guys. So it's all we all are young adults and our graduates and our upcoming graduates to start laying some or a kind of solid foundations by adapting or to get start utilizing them their time. And let me just give you an illustration, just like now, okay, now let me just give an illustration on how one can actually get to manage time, because it's a kind of solution aspect or a solution map on this now. Now, a student can actually get to utilize time. Now, if okay, if it's a student, okay, now let me just assume two students is attending a particular class, and maybe it's a class that normally ends by 2. I'm just giving an illustration, and when it ends by 2, one person returned home, or let's say returned hostel. I'm just giving a kind of illustration, and to get you to relate with what I'm saying well, if you're a university student, you should get. Now it's a lecture ends, and the other person returns to hostel. Let me is a familiar name, hostel, to sleep, to gist, to watch your serial music, uh, videos and all of those. Meanwhile, the other person use a kind of 4 hours. Let's say the class ended by 2. Let's say the class ended by 2. Then the other person has to go to or somewhere, or a neighbor or a friend to learn a digital skill. Maybe from that to, I'm just giving an illustration. The class ended by 2. Two students ended their class by 2. One returned home to sleep or to gist or even to do unnecessary things. Then why the other one use from 2, 3, 4, 5? It's a kind of 4 hours to learn a skill. Like it's more like a flexible something, maybe a soft skill that you're not gonna be stressing yourself to learn. You get? So one is using 4 hours after lectures to get to learn some skills. Now let me shock you. This if these both students happen to graduate, even though they graduated with the same grades or the same rate, or let's just say the same they issued them the same certificate, both of them are not a kind of they are not equal. Let me tell you, or let me explain why they are not equal. Now, the the other person is coming out with his or her certificate without easy. Let me now use the other person is skillless. Meanwhile, the other person that was actually utilizing his or her time using 3 4 hours after lectures to get to learn something, maybe get to ghostwriting or freelancing stuff, like anything outside our certificate. That's what we're talking about. So get that knowledge. Now, even if okay, outside world, now let's just say outside world. Now the person that was going to class and using his or her time, leisure time, to do unnecessary things, is going to start looking for work. Meanwhile, the other person that had the sense, let me use the sense because it's the sense. If you don't have it, you don't have it. It's called common sense. So the other person that has the sense to, or that sees it as an opportunity to start or utilizing or get the skill, is going to start choosing opportunities. Such person is not going to even a kind of suffer or even to look for work too much. It's more like you have value, you have what you can offer. That is a kind of great asset a student or a young adult or should or is expected to have. You should have a kind of a great asset by, like, you can also offer value apart from your certificate. You can offer value, you can do also you can do extra something, like you can actually do something out from certificate that can yield income and that can get you a kind of funds. Do you get that? So that's for that. And on that note, okay, guys. So on that note, we pointed out a lot of things, and we said one of the things. Okay, guys. So we said one of the things a student can learn. We pointed out video editing. Video editing is more like you getting to, I don't know, video editing is a kind of rampant something now. If your students are expected to know, I'm trying to relate video editing and freelancing and maybe online skill, or even get to start up a content. These are opportunities that students is not or expected to miss or play away with. Do you get it now? So they are to start doing all of these things. These are more like foundations, and it's more like or plan B, even if employment fails them tomorrow, even if they happen not to be employed in any organization, they are still going to stand their ground. They are not going to lose their ground. Like, they are still going to have something to beckon on. They are still going to have a kind of support system that they can equally check, or equally divert and start, or even press more to start making income. Do you get that? So these are foundations, and these are solid blocks, or solid something that can equally help students. So when any student has this ability to solve a problem, have this ability to offer value, and that can get income, you will see, even when you are not opportune to be employed, you're not going to suffer shame, or you're not going to be depressed, or up to the person that's whiling away his or her time in the university and all of that. Your own story is gonna be different. Like, you're still going to have something to start up with, you're still going to have something to develop, even if it's a business. Most students normally start off a kind of small business while even schooling, and it will even help them, because, as I said, you have a lot of chance. It's more like where you can opportunities do come, and you can get to mingle and get to know some people. Now, they can actually start up these things small, and it marvels me to tell you that a lot of big organizations, or a lot of business owners, a lot of guys that started, and a lot of girls that started some business that have established it now, started while they were still in school. Now people started knowing them, and they started relating with cosmate and all of those things. Now they are now a kind of standard. It started from school. Anything big starts from small. So you're not expected to just come out and life fix itself for you because you're a graduate, or because you came out with a first class. It's not always working like that. So what if you get to know all of this thing now, and the earlier you realize this, or as a student, as a young adult, the better, and you start acting and working upon it. So that's for that. And again, under time management in real life, we still have the I will start later. That we start later trap is actually a trap. Let me explain why it's a trap. Okay, we said under time management in real life, we have okay, sorry guys, it's the I will start later trap. Now I'm gonna explain the I will start later and why it's actually a trap. Now the I will start later is more like a procrastination. Like, is more or let's just say, is the greatest enemy of students. Now is the greatest enemy of students, in sense of, it's just that saying, or let's just say, is that thing that make them, or that always make them to feel that something is not relevant and not important now, just to procrastinate, like to think, or to or believe that they are going to start later soon, they are going to start in week time, they are going to start in next semester, and they are actually going to, okay, now just like some people, let me just bring it down so that you get what I'm trying to say. Just like some people will be like, next semester, or in few months to come, I'm going to start up learning skill. You see, if rather than them starting it now, they are going to postpone, they are going to procrastinate it. Even when it gets there, they are still going to postpone it. Do you get? This is for I will do, I will do, okay, this I will start later. Sorry guys, it's called I will start. I noted this as I will start later trap. Now they are going to be like, I'm going to start later, I will do that later. It's more like later something. And most at times is discovered that most at times all these later things that they are pointing and postponing, they are not always doing it, even with their letter. They're not always getting to make it done, even after procrastinating it, after postponing it. You get it now. So this is a very great enemy that every student or every young adult should start, and even while you're still in school, while you're out from school, while you're planning to enter, should start fighting, because it will make you postpone a lot of things. It will make you it will restrict you from getting a lot of things get started. It will hinder you or limit you in a lot of things. It's more like an opportunity eater. You should start seeing it. I will start later as an opportunity eater, because it will really eat your opportunity, or eat your I don't just know. Let me see, even bless a guy, you go chop your blessing. Make I use in a language, you go chop your blessing. Do you get that? So it's more like an opportunity eater. Procrastination is very, very bad, and every student, every adult should strive to fight this So if you're a zero procrastination student or all of those, like you're actually going to get things at the point, like you're actually going to get started. And this thing will even make it's just like you're hearing some saying that some graduated student will be like, had this been I started learning skill why I was still in 200 level, why I was still in 300 level, I wouldn't have been jobless. Do you get that? So it's more like a regret because they didn't start, like maybe during then they actually procrastinated it, or they postponed it to the next semester, and later time they are gonna be complaining or blaming themselves or being feeling regret that they didn't start then. Do you get it? So that's the work and the work of procrastination, and which is very bad. And as we said, every student should actually fight this because it really kills dreams, and it's chop and they eat blessing, that kind of a thing. So don't mind me, guys. So still on that time management in real life. Another thing we pointed out here is time versus money. What school did not teach, or what school did not explain? Time versus money. What school did not explain? Now, school did not explain it. To remind you, all our section, everything we're talking about here is to unveil, open your eyes. What school is not teaching you? Now, under time management in real life, we said that's a subtopic. We said school is not gonna be teaching you that, and actually, it's under it. We said we have said a lot of things already, and one of the things that we are still saying here, we are saying time management. Okay, sorry, we say time versus money. What school is not teaching? Time versus money. At first, time, as I said, is equally to money. How you cannot spend 50,000, I'm just giving an illustration. How you cannot spend 50,000 easily or lavishly, you shouldn't spend 5 hours easily or lavishly or without actually gaining something out from it. Do you get this? Because is time is equally to money. People, or let's just say people that use time very well, or this is people that utilize time well, like time is more like accumulated something that actually defines one future and all of that. Because minutes or seconds define, actually accumulate to minutes, and minutes accumulate to hours and all of that, and as accumulate to days, and days accumulate to weeks, months and years. You get it? So it's more like time, and it's actually what defines you. So when you waste it, or when you fail to utilize it well, is as well when you're failing and when you are wasting money. And we gave I stated something is more like an illustration. How you won't spend, like how you no go get the mind spend 50,000 for for something that is not making sense, or some, or how you won't just spend 50,000 easily on something that is not relevant. You shouldn't spend up to 5 hours lavishly or doing something that is not actually relevant. So you should equate time with money. Like you should try or a kind of bringing them together, because both of them are like, it's just more like both of them has the same value. It's more like both of them, as a student or as a young adult, be wasting your time unnecessarily on things that cannot yield value. And it's painful to see that most of our youth is they are just lavishing time. Lavishing time I mean here is they are not actually utilizing time. Most of them are gonna be wasting time scrolling. Most of them are watching TikTok endlessly. And the most regular aspect of this is, even that time, even see, anything that has the power to destroy someone also have the power or ability to also make someone. That's what I believe. Even on the social media that we all are hammering, one can as well make something useful, get to do something on social media. Moreover, social media and digital, like it's not like digital something, and the world more is going globally. So more of the things is a kind of internet something, and a lot, even that was in we were introduced to new AI, and all these things are is a kind of opportunities, and students can equally get into all of these things and start learning them. Maybe later days to come is going to fetch them money, because knowing all of these things and understanding how to use it to solve a problem or create out something, you're actually going to start earning from it. So Is more like anything that can destroy can actually make. So students or young adults should just adapt, or let's just say the positive or side of all of these things and start working on it, and not to just spend and waste their time on the internet and not learning or getting new knowledge. Do you get that? So that's for that. And under that note as well, we said time management after school is brutal, very brutal. Time management after school is brutal. Now I'm going to be explaining. Time management after school is brutal. It's brutal in the sense of, like, as you're not being taught to, because you're only going to uh impact you, like you're only going to teach you how to write exam, how to prepare for your exam, and all of that. Now it's brutal in the sense of you don't actually know what to do as a young adult. Like, time management after school, we're under time management after school is brutal. And we said it's brutal in the sense of, as a student, like, time management is more like you taking responsibilities, you knowing what to do at a particular given time. Is it as well relates to other areas of your life, like it's more like daily activity, something that can just be referred as time management. So it's more like activities, what you do daily, like how and when and what you invest your time in, and the actual result, it returns to you back. So it's more like time management. You get it? So it's not a big deal or a kind of a broad something. Time management, if I'm to define it, or let me say, if I'm to give it to you for you to take home, I can tell you, or I can say it means maybe the ability of one to utilize time. First, the ability of one to manage time, and the ability of one to use, or maybe to use time within a short period of time to make something useful and valuable. Do you get that? So that's for that. And still under that note, we said why many students are always busy but not progressing. Now, under our subheading time management in real life, we said why many students are always busy. Our young adults, they are always busy, they are always looking busy, but they are not progressing. I'm going to explain. You being busy doesn't mean you're actually creating value or you're actually working on yourself. Now, business, it can be referred to plenty things. Even you are playing game, you're actually busy. If you're watching film, you're actually busy. If you're doing any relevant things, actually you're busy because it's an activity. You're actually busy, but we're referring it to in a more positive way and in a way that can actually benefit our students. Now, we said being busy. Okay, let's just we said many students are always busy but not progressing. Now they are always busy. Now I'm going to be pointing out how they have been busy, or let's just say the reason why they are always busy. At first, they are always busy watching Sharia movie. They are always busy. uh not everything, not everything regards, or let's just say not everything deserve your time. If you're a student and if you're a young adult with, or with a vision, let me just put that, with a vision, you're not expected to get into a lot of things. It's just more like you getting into anything you see, just getting diving into a lot. You're really going to be stuck and confused. So you're not expected to get into a lot of things. If you're a young adult, even you're saying on the note of time management. Okay, time manage why students, why many students are always busy but not progressing. That's what you're saying. And you're saying here they are busy and not progressing, in the sense of they are getting themselves into a lot of things, and a lot of things is not good. They are getting themselves into too much assignment, maybe into too much learning, doing an endless searching and writing an endless assignment, getting themselves into doing, I don't know, most at times they will just get themselves into meetings that are not really valuable and that cannot impact oneself. Most of them are, it's just like wasting their time and resources online, maybe chatting with friends, chatting with groups, being on WhatsApp message and groups or shocking or relevant things that cannot even pass one life and all endeavors of life. So all these things are how they are busy and they are not progressing. Now, being busy is not actually the emphasis, or let's just say is not what really matter. The what matters is the ability for you to create results, the ability for you to create or to grow. Growth and results is what we was talking about. So if you're busy, always busy, not growing, not creating value, not creating wealth, or let's just say not gaining results, it's not really making sense now. It's not really making sense now. So you being busy, you're actually going to invest your time busy. If you're being busy, you're actually going to make sure that your business is converted to something useful and something gainable. That's for that. So under that as well, we said practical. Okay, you're gonna be pointing out practical time lesson students can start now. Like practical uh practical time lesson students can start now. And under that note, we said time blocks. Now, as we said, not everything deserve your time. You're not expected to get yourself into a lot of things. Like a lot of things should skip, a lot of problems and talks should shift. Now, if even if or you're around, I'm just giving an illustration. This maybe let me not refer to girls because it's a kind of general something. So you're not expected to get into a lot of talks and get into a lot of things. Anything that comes your way, you just get yourself into it. That is actually wrong. If you're a student and you're a student that has vision and all of these things, because you are gonna be implicating yourself and you're going to get yourself stuck and confused. That's it. And another thing we say there, okay, under that, or you're remind you, you're pointing out stops, practical stops or lessons students can actually start now. Like students can start now, or you know, see, they can actually start doing and start adapting. We said time blocks, not to get yourself into anything around you, not to get yourself into everything that comes on your way. Like try restricting and dodging some things, try letting some things go, all of those stuff. All right. So another thing we said, one skill at a time. Now it is applicable not to get yourself into a lot of things. And one skill at a time we mean here is, okay, if we're talking about skill area, you're not just going to pick all the skill in the world just because you said you should learn skill, or you should start adapting to to other areas of your life, and you're going to carry everything along to your head. It's not going to work like that. You're going to be stuck and confused. So one skill at a time is more like telling you to be one place, be in a particular place. If it's in YouTube, they will tell you stay on one niche, don't diversificate, or don't diverse in plenty niche. Stay on one niche. Staying on one niche, we are referring to what to say here is be one place, like be on one skill, like be consistent. And what they said is consistency beats intensity. Like you empowering yourself or laying pressure on things that is not relevant is, or pressuring yourself in carrying a lot of things all together, is not making sense. And that's what brings us in that consistency beats intensity. Like you intensifying things doesn't, or it doesn't create value than consistency. So consistency remains the key, and consistency doing the right thing, that's the actual right way. Consistency doing the right thing and consistency delivering value, that's just the right way. So if you, even if you're consistent and you're not actually delivering value, you're still wrong. So you ought to be consistent and as well delivering value, and you're good to go as a young adult, as an upcoming student. So you're actually going to make a lot of progress if you're taking our step, and if you're getting to note all of what we're saying here. So under that, as we said, reduce low value activity. Now reduce low value activity at first. Low, something that is less, a kind of is seen as less. Then low value is more like something, a worth, or just a benefit, a kind of that. Then activities is just like your normal activities, what you're doing regularly, you're acting. Now you're saying here reduce low value activity. Now low value activities you're talking on this sense is things that are not relevant, that has low value. That's the pointing, that's where our pointing. low value activities, things that are not valuable, things that cannot yield income, things that is not in any way gonna benefit you a return, you should or you ought to reduce it. You ought to, if possible, to stop it entirely, sorry. You know, to stop it entirely. Reduce low value activities, something that you know in return is wasting your life, you wasting your time and wasting your resources. You're not to get into it. You're to reduce it entirely, and if possible, as I said, to stop it entirely. Or let me just tell you, stop low value activity. Stop anything that is hidden value, developing your mind, developing your senses, and developing your or your perception or picture. I don't just know, just anything that is not developing you and not gaining anything, you're to stop it entirely, and if possible or entirely. That's what I'm saying. So under that, we said treat time like money. So if you're a student or you're a young adult, how do you treat time like money? If you're a young graduate, how do you treat time like money? Now, it's not a bad word or it's not erroneous to say treat time like money. Now, when I be explaining, you treating time like money is very simple. The way that you wouldn't like to spend 50,000 on something that is not relevant, on something that is not making sense, on something that won't or you won't value or you won't gain, you should or treat time like that. You should not waste up to 5 hours. You should not waste even an hour on something that is not valuable, on things that is less valued. Do you get it? So this is how you can actually treat time like money. Now, how you cannot throw 50,000 inside quarter, you shouldn't throw away 5 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, and 1 hour on gutter or doing unnecessary things. That is how you can equally use time like money, because time is equal to money. As we said, time, you should equate it like money. Time is as a valuable substance. Even when time is just when you utilize it well, you're gonna gain something, so it's equally to money. So you're saying here you should kind of treat it as, or let's just say, just the same way you treat your money, you should equally treat your time that way. All right, guys, so that's for that. And we noted some vital things. We noted a lot of or some vital things that we will love to share. It's more like a quote, deep get. So we noted time doesn't time doesn't punish immediately, it punish later. Now I'm gonna be explaining. Time doesn't punish immediately, it punish later. Remind you, time is more like daily something, daily activity, and slowly is shaping or defining your future. And we said earlier that time is more like seconds, minutes, hours, days, months, weeks, and all of that. It gets into years. So year two, or it's not something that punish. We said here time doesn't punish immediately, it punish later. Or it punish later. Now it punish later in the sense of, if you fail not to utilize your time, if you fail not to start making appropriate time, appropriate use of your time well, as a student, as a young adult, you may not see the consequences immediately. You may not see it as something that you're actually getting wrong immediately or at the moment, but it's later life, or let's just say in the nearest months or years to come. That's just it. That is one thing about life, and people are not getting, people are not seeing it. They are feeling that it's actually working for them now, and they are not seeing the implications. You get this? So this is how time punish later. So if you're to plan and make necessary change, so be aware that you're not to or to throw away your time, because later or sooner it's called I'll punish you. But that's not actually what we're wishing for you or are expecting for you. So you ought to make the appropriate use of your time well as a student. So you noted as well something else we said, you don't lack time, you lack control of attention. You don't lack time, you lack control of attention. Now this is a kind of two different things altogether. You, as a student, you cannot tell me that you lack time, because you ought to have a leisure time that you're using and is for your personal self. So that doesn't mean you lack time. Lecturers has its way and pattern So you ought to have time. Now, it's not in this sense, it's not a matter of not having time, but it's a matter of uh, you lack control of attention. Now, control of attention is just like the inability of one or a person or a student to focus or pay attention to a particular thing or even stick to a particular thing. It can be seen as an attention, like you focusing attention, like pay attention. Attention is more like you or focusing and being in a particular place. No, now you not having time is not because you lack time, it's because you're not paying attention. It's because you're not being attention, like you lack attention. A lot of things is distracting you, you're being distracted by a lot. So that is why I said you shouldn't get yourself involved in a lot of things. You should let some things go. You should let some wahala go their way. You should let some talk for ladies, you should let some talk go, and you should let some quarrels and some grudges and all of those stuff, you guys know it, you should let them go so as to focus and pay attention to the real matters, things that really matters for you. Alright guys, so we as well of course stated a lot something that we said letter is the most expensive word in a student life. Oh my god, how will I explain this? Now this is more like procrastination. That is letter, and we are saying here letter is okay, the most expensive word in a student's life. Now it's very very expensive because, as I said, you may not be able to finally kind of get to do that thing that you postponed, that you procrastinated. Now that is why we said it's very very expensive in a student life. I will do it later is expensive because you may not happen, or you may not even remember, you may not even get the opportunity again to actually do it later. So it's very very expensive, and a lot of students has missed opportunities, has and a lot of things has happened in the absence, or let's say in the process of procrastination, and in the process of I will do it later things. So it has caused a lot of harm than good. So students are expected to take note and forbid this attitude or this habit of later things, later I will do later, because it's really harming them and stealing, and is eating up their a kind of blessing, because I'll call it blessing because it's a virtue. That's it. So again, what you said there is grades open doors, skills keeps doors open. How? Let me repeat. Grades, like, let me just say school grades open doors, then but skills keep the doors open. Now you ask, if grades, okay, grades doesn't even have legs, so how can school grades open doors? Now let me explain. School grades can open doors in the sense of maybe you're a student, maybe you scored or you passed well. It's just like, okay, now let me give an illustration. Just like two students is actually schooling. One after school, maybe the lectures is ending by 2. Now one after school is returning to hostel or lodge to sleep and maybe some necessary thing that is not that relevant. Now one after that 12 or 2 that lecture ended, he or she is going to take it to learn a skill, or maybe get some knowledge about something. Now that skill, remind you, I'm trying to explain with illustration how grades open doors but skills keep doors open. That's what I'm trying to say. And on that note, I'm saying already that two students happen to or attend to a particular school, maybe that ends in a particular time, and the other person returned home, and while they will use our time, the other person has to sit or maybe go somewhere to learn something within that short time that is remaining. Now when the both graduated, when the both graduate out from the university, the other person that was actually utilizing his time is not going to be frustrated even when he or she is not opportune to get work. He or she is starting, and all of those stuff that he or she is yielding his time, energy and resources in learning and getting acquainted to, which is going to start it up. If it's a skill, we're gonna start it up. If it's a knowledge, like it's going to start developing it. You get it now. So while the other person is going to be a kind of stranded, looking for work and all of that. So even though you're or and let me just trade is, it's more like an extra tips, and you should get to know it. You having a certificate, and we even said in one of our section that is, as a student, depending totally on your certificate is a very very great risk that no one will tell you. And this has a lot, like this has caused a lot to our students by them depending on it with their whole heart. And it happens to be that they were not opportunity to get work, first year, second year, third year after graduation. They're going to start feeling regrets, why others has started or maybe investing, others have started up a business, others have started working in a good organization. Now they are going to feel depressed, parents are going to be bombarding, they are going to be compared to their peers. Like internet is not even helping matters. Like when they are seeing their friends and their relatives living well, they are going to feel more depressed. So the emphasis of students getting to learn other things cannot be overemphasized. So that's the essence of this. And when all of these things are happening, and even when such student is not mental and emotional strong already to expect all of this, because it is a kind of an inevitable something you cannot run away from, he or she is still going to be suppressed more and be affected more psychologically and all around. And if you is not thinking, this is when you start hearing that someone went and sniper and I caught that big. So that's just for that, and that's not what we're expecting and hoping and even dreaming for our students. So that's not what we're planning for them. So they should just start getting all of this knowledge and start or as well adapting to some certain things when it has to do with other areas of their life, and even strive to know a lot what life feels after school and what it really means to be out from school, and what it really means to be self-independent, to take responsibilities, to handle issues, to take pressures, and to make some decisions that won't affect oneself, and to it's more like an independent life. So most adult and young people has not stayed or experienced this, more like an experience. So you're to get the knowledge even when the experience is on your way, or when you're working on it, you're not going to be affected much, or you're not going to even be affected in any way, because you're more like you know it, and you can treat or handle things that you know in a more appropriate way that when you're a novice on it. So that's for that, and that's the essence of our streams and equipping you on the aspects. Do you get that? And still on the note we stated there, your daily routine is silently designing your future. And I think I pointed something that looks like it before. Your daily routine silently silently designing your future. Now, what is daily routine? It's just like your daily activity, what you're doing now. And as I said, uh, minutes and seconds define hours, hours define uh, days, weeks and weeks, months and months, years, most centuries and decades. So it's more like routine, daily something, hourly something, second something. All these things that we're doing is silently designing your future and your becoming. So when you're whiling it away, when you're not utilizing it in things that matters, when you're not investing it in a lot that can yield value in return, a lot that can offer value to someone else, that will create income. If you're not imputing to somewhere, like things that is matching, that matters, you're really going to be affected. Like you're really going to start slacking when your plans, or let's say when things turn, or let's say when the world turn it back on you. Do you get this? So that's not what we're wishing for our students. So we are also, our daily routine should a kind of be pointing to our future, because that's just what it means. Because daily routine is silently, you're not seeing it, you're not oh you're not even seeing it, like it doesn't even look like it at the moment, but that where the silently is more like hidden something, gradually, small, e go shock you that kind of a thing. So that is it, like e silently determining your future, and you're to utilize it. So you actually is gonna determine a better future. But when you while it away, when you fail to utilize it, and when you fail to make appropriate time plans and structure it well, is not gonna end well, and that is what we don't want for our students. And that's just what why we are here and what you're here to restrict and hinder. All right, guys. So still under that note, we have, I think this is the last one. If your time doesn't produce growth, it's been wasted. Like it's been wasted. Now, time, as I said, is you can equate it with money, and it's more like an asset, and is a virtue and precious something that when you utilize your, or it produces results, and it produces when you utilize very well, and when uh handled with care and all of that, you're gonna end your. So on that note, you said if your time doesn't produce growth, it's been wasted. Like even if it doesn't produce results, just like you. And I said something like being busy and not progressing. Now is this thing is a kind of referring to that. Now you being busy and being your business is on things that are not relevant, that is equally not producing growth here, or not producing results. Is not making sense. So the ability, or even you attempting to be busy, should be something that creates value, should be something that you're gonna gain in later days or years to come, should be something that is not being wasted, something valuable. It's just sort valuable, like valuable is just the thing there, like it must create value, like it must what's it called, like it must worth it must worth your stress, it must worth that your resources that you're spending, and that your time that you're spending. So that's for that, and it shouldn't be wasted. And you being busy in this context, if your time doesn't produce growth, it's been wasted. So your ought to, or your meant, or your expected all your time and energy, anything that you're doing should be producing results, because result is just the ultimate. Yeah. If you're not producing results, it's assuming you're wasting your time. It's just like when you're trying to do something and you're doing it and you're doing it and you're always busy doing it, and you're not producing results, nobody is seeing the progress and growth on it. It's assumed that you're wasting your energy and time resources. Do you get that? So even if, and this is applicable to our body, the body of our topic here. If when you feel not to impute all of these things, and you happen to graduate out, and life hits you, you're stuck, everything turn its backs on you, is gonna assume that you wasted your years and time there, and is gonna assume that is not valuable, like you didn't grow, like he's not making sense. So that is what is going to look like. And it even make them to even say that, saying that school is a scam even more. Do you get that? And that's what we're trying to hinder, limit, if possible stop it totally, by helping and inculcating and passing the knowledge what really cause it to our students, opening their eyes to see all of this things, so that they won't join them tomorrow, they won't end like others did, or they won't or see themselves where they are going to start having this mindset that they wasted their time and resources, because it's very very painful. Because when you're out, when you pass all of this stress, and and all of this stress, any student here can actually relate. When you pass all of these things and you happen you're frustrating, like it can frustrate a lot. So that's not what we're hoping and planning for our students. So, and we are hoping to see our young adults get to be a valuable asset, and get to what, and render value to the society, and get maybe capital, or let's just say money return, let's just say that. So alright guys, so that's for that. And in this session we have tried saying a lot, and I don't know if anything that we have said here so far interests you, or you've gained a kind of new knowledge. I don't know, just try considering giving us a thumbs up, or if you're not subscribed to our channel, just try subscribing to our channel, this web graphics. And you can as well follow us on all social media handles: TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, UF graphics. And we are venturing in to those platforms very soon. But in here YouTube, we stream daily, and we're teaching you guys on how to, and how you can start structuring and start building up on yourself and start developing yourself as a student. So that's the primary thing we are doing here, and that's what you are sent and being represented for and by. Do you get that? So that's for that. I wouldn't love to see our students in life frustrated after the all of this. My God, no, that's not what we want, and that's not what we even love seeing. So I urge you, if you're a student, I urge you, if you're a student, to start implementing, and even anybody that needs this knowledge can equally refer the person to us, share our links to them, or even tell them our social media handle name. Maybe they can equally watch and hear things that nobody is even telling them, and things that they are not even considering to matter in their life and in their personal growth journey. Do you get that? So that's for that. And as I said, I remain my humble self, UF graphics, and our goal is to help our young adults, youth, graduates, our upcoming graduates, and even our secondary school or students of to endure academically and both in life. So we are like big brothers to them, and we are gradually and humbly letting them know about all of these areas that they are not seeing and nobody is even talking about it. So that's for that. And if you've been watching so far, I really don't respect the fact that you watched and you're still watching and you're gonna watch more. So I really regard it, and as I said, it's not taken for granted. And uh if you've dropped any message, like, okay, at first you can drop anything, we'll get to reply you, and you can ask some questions, we'll get to the point. And as well, you can maybe drop your name, drop your department, drop your country, drop pp the quiet skill, or even the problem, or whatever that you're fixed already, or the failures, and maybe the management, like how you're thinking or how you're managing your lifetime already. Sorry, time management in real life. So it can, yeah, how you're managing your lifetime already on comments, so we can equally kind of evaluate it and maybe give some response or make some similar video streams on how to equally resolve that. So that's for that, guys. So if you've watched this, consider giving us thumbs up and subscribe if you've not do that, and also get to refer us to your friends and students that need this advice and this insight. Do you get that? So that's for that. Thanks for watching, everybody, and love you. See you tomorrow by 12 dan also. Alright, guys. So right now, this moment and this hour, you're getting off, and you all are really appreciated. Like, I really appreciate the fact you watched, and your asshole. Yeah. So GGFGraphics, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And let's see